God-given inalienable rights. And they said, but we got them in our states right now, and we've written it so you don't know. He says, maybe so, but future generations won't understand it the way we do. I mean, now that we've got them all written down, and we've still got the government violating every single one of them virtually. Thank goodness we have this Bill of Rights. And so we can thank George Mason and the Anti-Federalists for the Bill of Rights. About half the states, I think 5 of the 13, said we will not ratify unless there's a Bill of Rights. So immediately they sent it out in 1787 after voting on it, and it said you're going to get 9 of the 13 states to ratify it. That happened, by the way, in 1788, and by 1789 it was unanimous. But it would not have been unanimous except for the fact that they sent out the Bill of Rights. Everyone knew we're going to have a Bill of Rights. It's just a matter of we're going to have all 12 of these, or ended up they just ratified 10 of the 12. And we'll learn about all that stuff. I'm over by 2 minutes here, but
we started our third 30 minutes, so.
I see. No, it's your deal there. That's what it is.
Oh, we don't have a class, so we're good.
Yes, sir.
Did you have a handout last week?
We did, and here's a glossary and the
syllabus.
It's just a list of the 9 weeks what we're going to be covering. Each one will stand on its own. We will hearken back to all of these at various times, but we went through the preludes to the Declaration and kind of the historical thing. The main thing we learned, you've heard this week, and that is that our founding fathers believed virtually to a man that God is the sovereign, and he made us sovereigns by giving us unalienable rights. We have this direct connection, kind of like the Puritans that we learned about last week from England, who among other things, they're trying to purify the Church of England. They could read it in English now because it had been translated by Tyndale, and they said, it doesn't say the things of the Church of England. So they wanted to purify it, but they came up with this radical idea that you could pray directly to God, that you didn't have to go through the Pope or the King to do so. You could pray directly, that we had a direct connection to God, and that goes along with the idea of unalienable rights, that God gave them directly to us, not through the King or the Pope. So, comments or thoughts at this point? Well, I promise you, as I have before, that you will understand the Constitution better than 98% of Americans. It's not that complicated.
Legislators too.
Well, I think they don't read it. Honest to goodness, it's not hard to understand. It's real simple.
Yep.
I put it in yellow so that. But you'll all get a copy of the Constitution, and we'll go through. You'll find where there are privileges and immunities, and due process clause, and legislative, executive, judicial, and full faith and credit, and freedom of speech, religion, press, petition, right to keep and bear assault weapons, and whatever other things are. Yes, sir.
So I can make a comment. So it's because of this class, and Chris Hall and all that,
and Audrey. Don't forget Audrey.
Well, Audrey was fantastic. His daughter moved back to Utah, but man, she was a teacher. Let me tell you.
And he said to
me
it was
such
a year
a
ago,
great
they're talking about Audrey, and I said, you guys know Audrey? Yeah, she'd been teaching. I didn't know she'd been teaching those classes there.
She was unbelievable. Well,
she's wonderful. That's
yeah,
right.
not a candle.
She's wonderful. She's better.
Yeah, she's unbelievable. Anyway.
Well, she's a mom of 6 kids.
Yeah, I know. It was God will let you do whatever he wants you to do. Anyway, so if you want to get involved, like Rudy got involved today, this Homeland Owners Association has 2 calendars. The one on the left shows everybody that can tax you, and these are the dates coming up. So March 22nd was today. Commissioners Court, City Council is tomorrow. Emergency Services District the following Monday, and then so anyway, and you can click on those, and it has the agendas for those things, so you can know what they're going to be talking about, and you can speak if you want to.
I'd like to say
what website is this on?
HomelandOwnersAssociation.com.
Website, Homeland.
And I don't care whose it is. We could put it on if we had one for our group. That would be great. This is the card here.
Spelled out, Bob.
Oops. Yeah, all HomelandOwnersAssociation.com.
Bob's deal is really local government here and so on. And let me just say something about this.
Yeah,
the purpose of this of this course is to lay a solid foundation for individual citizens to understand that we're the sovereigns, to understand what is the law of the land here, and that this whole law, the Constitution, is not just the supreme law of our land, but it is the basis of the rule of law versus the rule of man. Virtually all countries in the world, including the great Western democracies, are rule of man rather than a rule of law.
Let me answer this question when we are talking about the forefathers directly talking that we should be no king or no pope. What about when we talk about it's just for information, when we talk these days, especially on Fox or everywhere, Judeo-Christian society?
Judeo-Christian. The
Judeo-
United States was based on Judeo-Christianity.
Some people say that, and we can say this historically. There's not any question that most of the founding fathers were Christians, but the law that they came from was based on God. There were, we worship different gods. We may have a different idea of who God is, and so on. Thanks, Amar. But their idea, they didn't argue about that. They said God is the sovereign. Whatever God, and we respect everyone's right to worship who, when, where, what they may, or nobody at all if they don't want to. So no, this nation is not. The Constitution is not a Christian. I mean, I personally believe that it goes, because I'm Christian, I believe it goes along with the principles of the Christian religion. I believe it goes along with the Bible, both Old and New Testament.
But that's what I want to find out, when this term was coined, that is Judeo-Christian, because in forefathers, I read a bit of about the history. It never says somewhere, in sort of they just mention, if you read Thomas Jefferson or all these, they believe in an Almighty, and it's personal, that makes us great country, our Constitution, that's why I love it. But when this had started, we are talking about every time you hear, we are a Judeo-Christian, but in Constitution, are we going to read something about it?
I'm not going to be talking about Judeo-Christian law here because the founders were all about God is the sovereign, and He made us. And I have my beliefs. I have my religion. I'm a Christian. There's Muslims here and so on, and other maybe religions.
Exactly.
But it's not necessary to say that this Constitution we believe is for. When I say we, I mean Americans. We believe that these are eternal principles. That they're not just for Americans, but they're for all people. That they should be established forever.
Exactly.
And that anything more or less than this, politically and legally, is no good. These are based on the laws of nature and of nature's God, whoever that is.
That's
Yes.
right.
Yeah, when you read the quotations from many of these founding fathers, I would say that they didn't, I don't think they ever used the Judeo-Christian principles, but they did say where they were coming from, and there was no doubt where they were coming from.
Well, most of them were Christians. Probably over 50 of the 55 were Christians in the deal, but some were not. But it's like I tell my students at school. I'll say to them, look, you don't have to believe in God to get an A in this course, but you do have to believe that the founding fathers believed in God. And at least you got to repeat that back on the test. But the point here is that I hope that you'll be convinced that you are the sovereigns here.
Exactly.
I don't say to them, if you're convinced you're the sovereigns, you're going to be convinced you're the sovereigns because God gave you. I'm not going to emphasize, honest to goodness, because we're here at the mosque. If we were at the Catholic Church, or the Mormon, or the Baptist, then I probably would emphasize some things that fit directly with the Christian religion and most of the founding fathers who were Christian. But it is not necessary to believe that this is based on Judeo-Christian. It's based on the idea that God, whoever He is the sovereign, and He delegated to us, that He gave us, that we by our humanity have unalienable rights. And that makes us the sovereigns, which, by the way, is a heady thing. It also should be a humbling thing, because we've got to figure out what's right and do it right. If we don't, it's like Him giving us the right to have babies, and then we have babies and don't raise them right, and we waste it and fail.
That's why I love it.
Didn't they call Jefferson and Franklin atheists?
They tried to call
Deists.
deists. You never can
Well, they
get
did
a
try to
quote
call
out,
them
read
atheists
their
or
quotes and think
religious,
that's
yeah,
not a
whatever.
deist.
And that varied, by the way, at times in their lives. Yeah, I think at one time he
But
did call himself a
historically,
deist.
like when they're talking about, from what I've read, the founders looked more at us like Anglo-Saxon than they would Judeo-Christian, because a lot of the way that they were wanting to break government up was in line with the the Anglo-Saxon culture.
I'll say this. Whoever God is, our founding fathers did understand that because they were the sovereigns, that they needed to find out what was his will, what are his correct principles. And it's not enough to just say, well, I want it to be my principles, you know. We got to find out what is the truth, and then implement that in it's our responsibility to do so here. And it's our responsibility, of course, to control our government and make them obey our marching orders or fire them.
Yeah.
If it gets to that point, yes, sir.
Is there a fee for this class?
No, there's no fee for the class. We ask for a $5 donation if you can and will to cover this, and we're going to print the constitutions and your pocket deal and one other thing that we're going to
I want to make a contribution to the
it's
church
just
if you feel so moved for allowing us to be here.
or give it to
We're so happy.
Doctors Without
No.
Borders.
Yes. It's our honor.
We are more happy.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any suggestions of things to read for next week?
Homework.
Yeah, in fact, please, if you would take one more minute, I'll send out to you because I don't have it in mind what it is, but I'll email it to you tonight. We sent this email, and I mean a third of them came back because I couldn't read your handwriting, to tell the truth. So
If you didn't get an email from Tom
could I get everyone to write their handwriting,
do the list.
write their email address?
I don't have to give you my name.
Yeah, if you got it, we're good. Yeah, if you got an email, we're good.
If you did not get an email, write it down twice. Write it down twice.
I can remember. I can remember some of the ones, but I won't embarrass you by saying who they were. But if you could write down your email address. In fact, if you want to just come up and write it on the board here.
I'll try and make sure they're.
Yeah, that way we don't even have to send a list around. I'll take a picture of it. We'll make sure that you get. We'll do that every week. There'll be and these principles, they take 2 or 3 minutes each to read. I mean, I won't ever give you anything that'll take you more than a half an hour, maybe 45 minutes if you read everything and the whole chapter. And
Thank you very much, sir.
So you gave us what to read for this time. Oh, I guess you gave the next one.
I'll
You'll
email
email
it. I'll email it to you for the next time, and I'll do it tonight.
Okay.
Bob, you taking up for the collection?
Now Rudy, here's 5 for the church.
Okay.
The
house church? Okay.
Why don't you just write down your email address and everybody email you?
That's a good idea.
Hey, Tom,
Still the easier way.
write your email address down.
If you don't get it,
I got that one.
You got it?
Thank you.
Rudy. Is that for the church or the book?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir.
How do you pronounce your last name?
Drashel, check. They tried to Americanize
but
it.
that's just
Possible, you know.
I didn't know what to call it.
one of the things I like to do.
It doesn't matter.
Even in the future. Well, no, we don't have to do it right now. We can do it.
Thank you.
So, we've been trying to get the church
Did we get your
involved.
email address?
Yes,
I got it.
I wrote it twice, yes.
The way
Yeah,
the church
we went
needs
over
to
it.
be
It's
involved
very clear.
at our founding.
She's got good handwriting.
Yeah,
one
and
of the
then this
ways
one's
to
really
do
clear.
Is if we
And
support
then
the
this one
church
rewrote it fairly clear,
with our
but he's already
lives,
sent off,
fortune,
so.
sacred
Okay.
honor. Part of our fortune goes to this church. That gets them their attention, and they'll start paying.
A lot of people say that Judeo-Christian.
Rudy, Rudy's collecting for the church.
Oh, here, God bless you.
So,
That's for the church. Awesome. I'll,
No, you won't.
I don't know if
Any
they'll
other
take it.
countries,
I'm
they
gonna
may
have to
say,
try to see
and
it.
hopefully there are a lot of people believing in it, so, but their countries,
I'll find a way to
the
I
law
feel
is
almost
not
certain
technically
this is
based
what
on
we're
what
going to do to get the church involved.
I mean, our group has already agreed we're gonna donate what we sell on books, because we all donated $1 million.
This is your speech, so I want to find out maybe somewhere down the road
All right,
was
so
an
that's
question
25
that it is based on. I know
church.
they're all Christians, I know what they believe.
Cool.
And I read all this.
I mean, and then maybe
I
they'll buy
thought
some more
maybe
cookies.
somewhere down the road,
Right.
somebody
There's
was.
a lot of
Please give it
support,
homework.
of course, by Judeo-Christian law, and I believe,
Do what?
I mean, you know, I'm a believer. Certainly they're an influence.
Yeah, absolutely, there is no doubt about
He was
it.
supposed to
you know,
what?
But
Pick up.
The U.S. Constitution, you don't have to be a Christian to believe in the U.S. Constitution.
Exactly.
And see that it's,
Okay.
you got to be
convinced that
human,
it's correct and wonderful, you know.